What's going on, guys? Moon3PR. In today's video, we're going to be coming at you with a little bit of a different video. If you guys have been following the socials on, TikTok, Instagram, X, Twitter, or whatever you want to call it, you guys would know that I've made the transition to selling singles, specifically wrestling card singles on WhatNot. And in this video, we're going to break down how the first two streams have gone, what my mindset has been, and kind of give you guys a little bit of a background. I feel like on YouTube, I know there's probably a different audience. I know some of you guys may not follow me on TikTok, which you guys should. All the links down in the description down below. But I talk about a lot of my stuff over on TikTok and other platforms, but I don't think you guys have really, for those just following me primarily on YouTube, really have gotten to get an idea of like what I do on the side, what I do with these cards. Obviously, we make a bunch of videos highlighting, what wrestling cards to buy, what wrestling sets, things of that nature. But I don't think you guys have really gotten a sit down like this of what I do with these cards, what I sell on the site. So it's going to be more of like a rambling sit down, and of course we'll break down the WhatNot sales. So before we dive into the sales, what we've been selling, how things have been going on WhatNot, let's just talk about a little bit. Let's back it up a little bit. So for those that don't know, I have had my links in the description down below, but you guys would know that I primarily been selling cards on eBay. That's where I started with, and I sell a little bit on collects, and I've sold a little bit on Discord and Facebook groups and things like that. Those are gonna be a little bit of hit and miss if I'm being completely honest, but eBay is king when it comes to selling low-end or high-end sports cards. So that's primarily where I started. I've been selling sports cards as a side hustle for the last 2 years now, and it's been going great up to this point. We were selling, anywhere, we were making, anywhere from 5 to 10 sales a day. Granted, they were low-end sales. Every once in a while we'll have a high-price slab or high-price card sell. But I mean, we were selling anywhere from $1 to $10, maybe even 15, 20 with PWE. And when you rack up those sales every day, that money that's coming back in, it adds up. People may not, people are gonna maybe shoot on the idea like it's not, it's not good or it's not reliable, things like that. But when you really break it down, those sales do add up. So for me, I would just keep that on my eBay page. When the funds sent, and I would use those. If unexpected expenses came in, bills were higher than usual, or if me and my wife wanted to go on a vacation, or if I wanted to buy something for her, like those are what those funds went to. And of course it also went to funding other cards. Like all the cards you see behind me here, that's funded through the hobby. The CM Punk behind me, I collect other things on the site too, figures, Funko Pops. My wife collects other things too, so that's where the funds went to. And it is really, at one point, it was really reliable, and it was consistent sales coming in and out. But the last 2 months on eBay have really stalled, and I don't know why. Like, I was doing everything that, all other top eBay sellers will say. You got to post 3 to 5 times a day. You got to promote your listings. You got to do this and that. Make sure you have a updated bio and updated profile picture. Like, I did all that, but for whatever reason, the cards just were not moving. And there was no changes as far as what we're selling. Like sometimes we're selling duplicates of cards or same style of card, and they were, high tier superstars. Your Roman Reigns, your Rocks, your Stone Colds, your Codys, your Liv Morgans, your Alexa Blisses. The top names that you could think of. That's who we were selling. But for whatever reason, the last 2 months have just really stalled. And as someone who creates content or things like that, I'm always thinking outside of the box. Okay, what can we do? What can we do to pivot? Like, what's another way of avenue we can get some sales in? And that's where WhatNot came into play. And my idea with WhatNot is to, okay, we have a bunch of bulk. We have a bunch of already established WWE inventory. Let's find a way to move it. And it's low tier stuff. Like, it's not expensive stuff. I think that's what I like about WhatNot. Granted, I do have some higher tier stuff where, I do have it in my buy it now. Maybe if it ever was to get crazy, we do a bidding or something like that. And one of my second streams, we did lose a little bit on a card. I think it's worth a little bit more, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the cards that I was moving on eBay, or in this case here, we're not moving on eBay. Those were cards that I had listed in my first 2 streams, and those moved really, really quickly. And it's thanks to you guys. If you guys are tuning in, again, link is down in the description down below. If you guys have never joined WhatNot, if you can join in, if this is your first time ever making an account with WhatNot, you get $15 off your first purchase. It doesn't have to be with me. It could be with somebody else, but if you do join with that referral link, it does help me out a little bit. So yeah, the first 2 streams have gone really, really well. We've had anywhere from like, the views are not crazy, but we've had a lot of orders. So I'm going to show you guys. And I think what I want to do with this too is like build transparency, because people are always going to talk about the high dollar sales. They move this and that. But I feel like in the hobby, or maybe on YouTube, or, wherever, I don't think there's a lot of transparency. So I'm going to show you guys, what I made in my first 2 sales, how it's going for me, what I think about it, and maybe, it motivates you to do something. My idea with this is that this is my side hustle. If it ever becomes like a thing where it replaces my 9 to 5, who knows? But for me right now, it's my side hustle. I enjoy it. And yeah, that's enough talking. Let's dive into WhatNot and see how these first 2 shows have gone for me so far. All right, before we get into it though, this is my page. Again, Moon3PO. That's where you can find me everywhere. You can see here, this is currently what it's looking like right now. You can see here, this is the current inventory. Again, not a lot of inventory when it comes to the high price stuff, just because I am a little bit low on that right now. But this is what we've been rocking with right now that's been in the inventory. We did have a carrying cross auto that sold, but did sell on my last show. But yeah, again, if you guys ever come in and join the show or just coming in looking at the page, this is currently what we have in the inventory. I try to add in, a slab or higher price single every once in a while. So, again, if you guys want to go follow me or go help support me in any way, check out the page, give it a follow. And yeah, it really will mean a lot. But now let's go into the first 2 shows and see how they've done. All right, so here was the first show. Obviously, you can tell my first WhatNot show. These were all the sales metrics for this show. So you can see here, estimated sales was $53. Estimated earnings was $33.80. That's where eBay, or not eBay, so you can see here I'm prone to saying eBay. WhatNot's going to be taking some of their fees, which can be a little bit high. But when I did the price and did the math on some of the things here, it does add up when you're comparing selling some singles on eBay. These are my compensated earnings. You can see this is how many orders we had. We had 20 total orders. This is the average order value. We did lose a little bit of money as well because we did do giveaways, which from the research that I was doing, other people who've been doing WhatNot for full time, giveaways are important. So we did 4 free giveaways. So you kind of see here, this is what we had. And then, this is basically the stream metrics. So we had 10 buyers, obviously they're first time buyers. We had 22 shares, which was really cool. Max, we had about 32 viewers in there. Total views was 266. Average order rating was 5. Those are the ratings that I've got. And we went on for about 2 hours. So to me, that was, that can be discouraging to some people, but for me, I saw that as a W. Again, this was inventory that I already had. Granted, if it's, inventory that I got from, blaster box rips, mega box trips, or if it has something, anything left over from the hobby, those can be seen as losses for sure. But for me, again, this was just inventory that was just sitting on the eBay pages, wasn't moving. And I feel like with the cards that sold, that's roughly give or take of what those sales would have been. So I had no discouragement whatsoever. And to me, what my brain reads is like $33.87. That's what I can take back and put back to my business, a little side hustle, side business, and buy other cards. Like when I go to card shows or when I price out inventory online, like that's what I like to spend. My brain works in averages. So if I'm buying, 10 cards and it was $30, like what's the average per card? If we're selling on WhatNot, one card may go above other, one card may not. And that's just the story of WhatNot. And that's where, again, that's the way my brain works with these types of things. So that's the way that I saw it. It may be wrong. Leave a comment down below if you have a different side of mindset. But as a first time person going through WhatNot and selling on WhatNot, that's just the way I was operating with the show. Now, the second show was a lot different. We had a little bit more inventory. Again, with the first show, we were getting a lot of comments of people who they were looking for. So I was able to source out some inventory during the week. I bought like a 10 to 15 card lot for like $20, if I'm not mistaken. We got superstars like Sol Ruka, Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, superstars like that who a lot of people were asking in the last show. I'm like, okay, if I get those same viewers coming in, they did follow me, and if I build that trust with them, if I get those same viewers in there, I can get them to get these cards, or have at least have some interest in the cards itself. So you can see here the estimated sales way higher than what it already was. So we had $214 estimated sales, $168.50. That's what is coming back to me. Again, that's what they're taking from me. We had 40 total orders, so higher than what we had previously. Again, the average order value was the same. Giveaway was the same. Again, we gave away 4 giveaways. Those were tops nows. And you can see here we had 13 buyers, 12 first-time buyers, 1 returning buyer. We were a little bit less on the shares, but that's okay. We went a little bit longer. We went a little bit over 2 hours and 8 minutes. We're at around, max was 28 viewers, total views 315. So me looking at this, again, that is a trend upwards for me. Again, I'm seeing here $168. That is what are funds that I could take with me to a show, in 2 to 3 weeks once that money clears, and I can go out and source out, bigger inventory for the streams, or maybe hell, I can even fork out more to go buy a single that I've been eyeing for my personal collection. So to me, this stream here was a W, and kind of showed me like, okay, like if I can stay with this, be consistent, advertise, promote, show you guys what I'm doing here and bring as much transparency as I can, this is something that I can, work with for sure. And I also want to make it clear as well, like this is not meant to be like a gloating sit down or like a flexing. Obviously, those numbers are not anywhere near to flex. But I just hope with this, they kind of brings a little more transparency with you guys, kind of get a better idea of who I am and like what I'm trying to do with my content, with my channel, and with these cards. Obviously, there's other Whatnot streamers who, do thousands of dollars in sales on a stream potentially. But for me, seeing that, 168, that's a lot to me. And, if I can do that on a week to week basis, that's like what, 400, $500 extra in my pocket every month if I host a stream every week, which I have been doing every Sunday. So, I mean, if that's something I can bring consistently to you guys, and, it's not in the case here too, where like I'm trying to get you guys to come in and buy cards. A lot of the people that we had in the show, we're just coming in saying hi. I had some people recognize me from TikTok, and we're just talking wrestling. And I think that's what's cool. You guys can see me talk live. I can edit this stuff to make me sound good and make me look good. But on TikTok, it's live. It's like pro wrestling. It's live. You can't edit that stuff. So, I'm just in there talking shop, talking wrestling with you guys. And it's been a good time. So, again, I encourage you guys, if you guys are, a fan of my content, you enjoy what you see, if it's on here or somewhere else, and you guys just want to come in, talk shop, talk wrestling, go ahead and do that. Just, again, join the link, follow, or even if you're an existing user on WhatNot, just go ahead and follow me and join my streams when I promote it and talk about it. And, we can just have a good time talking wrestling, talking cards. So, yeah, guys, that's going to be the end of the video. That kind of also explains as well where I've been. Obviously, you guys, we've been dropping the podcast episodes on here, but I haven't had to sit down when it's just me, talking wrestling cards. So that's where I've been. A lot of my attention has been on WhatNot, but, hopefully we can come back on YouTube here and show you guys what I'm buying, what I'm selling. I am going to a couple of card shows this upcoming weekend. So if you guys want to see me, what I'm looking for, what I'm buying, what I'm looking for to sell, please feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The push to 1,000 is real. I think we're like at 763, so around 700. So we are close to 1,000 subscribers. So if you guys want to help me get to that journey, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. If you guys enjoyed this video as well, want to see more of this, what I'm buying, what I'm selling, things of that nature, please feel free to leave a like on this video because that shows me you guys want to see this content here moving forward. So I do thank you guys for watching, and we'll see y'all in the next one.